Mr. Speaker, I rise to address the serious issue of raising our debt limit before we raise havoc on America's economy and impacts for the world's economy. What I want to talk about is common sense in terms of how we move forward with regards to our fiscal needs. Since 1960, the Congress has raised the debt limit 78 times. 78 times since 1960. It is the Congress's responsibility to do this. 49 times under Republican presidents, 29 times under Democratic presidents. There is a degree of hypocrisy that has filtered through this House in recent months regarding the debt ceiling. With the last administration, the Trump administration, we voted to increase the debt 3 times to lift the debt ceiling under the Trump administration, while at the same time, the debt was being increased by 25%. 25%. I even remember the President Trump saying that he was the king of debt. I guess he is, or was. The fact is if that hadn't been increased by 25%, we wouldn't be here today with the dilemma of how we should raise the debt ceiling. We should raise it the way we have previously, cleanly in a bipartisan fashion. That's what we have done historically. As Sergeant Friday used to say, just the facts, ma'am, because the debt ceiling has no impact on our spending, which is a reasonable issue to debate on how we spend America's tax dollars. And that is what the Congress ought to do. But the debt ceiling simply commits us to paying the bills that we have already incurred. To pay the bills we've already incurred. That's what this is about. And that's why, since 1960, Congress, under Republican and Democratic administrations, has raised the debt ceiling 78 times. 49 times under Republican presidents, 29 times under Democratic presidents. Yesterday's announcement by Secretary Treasurer Yellen makes it clear there is no time to waste. There is no time to waste. June 1st is looming closely. And the havoc that would occur if we don't lift the debt ceiling is significant. It is significant. We can and should avoid this economic catastrophe. I have voted to raise the debt ceiling in 19 years that I've been here 16 times, 3 times under the Trump administration. It is a responsible thing to do. If we default on our debt, nearly 8 million jobs will disappear soon after in June. If we default on our debt, nearly Social Security payments will be jeopardized. If we default on our debt, payments to veterans will be impacted. If we default on our debt, health benefits will be at a risk for millions of Americans. In California, if we default on our debt as a result of the proposal that the Republicans are making and the measure that they passed, we would eliminate preschools and child care for over 35,000 children. It would strip food assistance for over 1.3 million Californians. It would make more expensive for students in terms of college for over 874,000 students. And it would increase housing costs for 83,000 people in California. These numbers are being updated. So, where are we? There is a common sense agreement based upon past century that we must lift the debt ceiling. Republicans have acknowledged that. And as a blue dog, I believe in fiscal responsibility. And I want to work with my colleagues on both sides on a bipartisan effort, as I have, to lower our debt, because we must, to ensure that Social Security remains solvent and Medicare over the long term. We must do those things. But there's a way to do it. We can lift the debt ceiling cleanly as we have in the past, and we can agree to a bipartisan commission, a serious commission, to look at our debt and how we reduce our debt as occurred under the Clinton administration. That is common sense. That's what this is all about. So bipartisan attempts, but partisan attempts to score political points should not be at the expense of the full faith and credit of the United States. Not only are Americans' economic recovery is at threat here, but the U.S. dollar is the currency of the global economy. So, America is not a deadbeat nation. We need to pay our bills, and we need to meet the needs of American people. Let's lift our debt ceiling by June 1st. I yield back the balance of my time.